All right, good afternoon, fans. Thanks for joining us here on Cine TV. Game number 3 now underway between your 2015 Pittsburgh Penguins Elite Squad and the Providence Capitals, as the Pens look to get their first win of tournament action here, as Brooks Gaworski is going to bring it into the zone. And it's going to be backhanded by Sawyer Phillips back to Gaworski. Gaworski sends it into the slot. Ferguson's going to take it here to the near wall. He leaves it for Sawyer Phillips. Pens mixing up their lines here to try and generate some momentum. Welch pinching all the way down the wall. He's going to have to sprint back to get back into position, as the puck's going to be sailed through the neutral zone. Welch is going to come over and pick up the mail here. He's got a little bit of time. A lot of water still on the ice here. Welch is looking for an option. Still has some time. He's going to throw it behind the net to his D partner. Nenevisa goes right back to the stick of Nenevisa and it's go into the net. As Providence is able to get an early 1-0 lead, 10:54 to go on the clock. Ensuing face-off now underway, as the puck's going to be thrown now behind the defense. Easton Borman's going to go to work now to pick up this puck. He's got a man in front. He hit the stick of Bingham Green. It's going to be pushed wide of the net, though, as it's going to come back to center, as Grant Loy is going to take his man out. He's soaked up a little bit. Puck's going to go below the goal line, and that is Nico Stark. Correction, that's Easton Borman that's going to throw it behind the goal line over to Nico Stark. Pens unable to get out of their zone here, as it's going to be held in at the point, but it circles back to Nico Stark. Stark thinks about going behind the net to his D partner and does. That's Grant Loy, number 43. It's going to be sent all the way down the ice. Looks like an icing call is going to be assessed, and it is. So Providence gets out to an early 1-0 lead. I'm down on the far end of the ice. Looked like a wraparound goal that deflected into the nets to give the Capitals a 1-0 lead here. 10:03 D-zone draw coming up for the Pens. To the right of goaltender Dragosic. Ferguson's going to take this draw. He's flanked by Wilson and Paris. Goes off the stick of Noah Welch. Welch is going to move that up to left winger Blake Paris. Paris tries a headman pass ahead to Wilson. Unable to get it into the zone, as Providence is going to come right back in. They dance around Wyatt Frankenfield. Welch is able to stop that up momentarily. Kicks right back to the stick of a Capital player. Shot taken, and it's in the back of the net. So not the start that the Penguins are looking for here in the third game of the Boston Cup, as the Capitals are going to dump it right back in. And Pens are looking to reverse their momentum here. It's going to be sticked off of the wall and up into the neutral zone. Easton Borman and Sawyer Phillips. Phillips crashes into a guy. They both go down here. Borman strong on his skates, is able to kick that forward into the neutral zone, but no further, as puck's going to be knocked around CJ Nenevisa, and it finds Easton Borman's stick behind the net. Borman's going to reverse it back to CJ Nenevisa, number 77, left-handed defenseman of the Pens, moves it up to Sawyer Phillips. Phillips was looking for Gaworski. It goes off of his equipment. It's going to come into the offensive zone here, where number 13 is going to pick it up. He sends it back to the point. That is Grant Loy. Loy tried to move it down to Gaworski. It's going to be picked off here and becomes an outlet for the Capitals. Owen Mulligan's going to crash into a guy and come out of there with the puck, as it goes to Stark. Stark up to Gaworski. Gaworski has Mulligan behind the play. Mulligan has a step. He's trying to work around the left side. He's pulled down. It's going to be a penalty coming up. Power play for your Pens Elite squad. Good headman pass up to Owen Mulligan, who caught a defender flat-footed, had to dive down, got a stick out into the skates of Owen. So 8:33 to go, and the first power play of the game for your Pens Elite squad. Ferguson wins that back to Stark. Stark tried to go back down to Mulligan. He lost an edge. It comes all the way down below the goal line to Ferguson. He had Green going in the net, and it squirts free in the crease. Almost was creeping in. The netminder, I believe it's number 37. It is 37. Was able to 27 reach back and got it covered here. So good start to the power play. 1:53 remains on that Penguin power play. It's going to be won back cleanly by Ferguson to the stick of Nico Stark. It's going to be deflected down in onto the stick of Bingham Green, who brings it around the netminder, and the Pens cash in. That's a PPG for PPE. As that shot from the point came from the stick of Nico Stark. I actually think it was Fergie that knocked it down onto the tape of Bingham Green, and it's put around the pad of the netminder number 27. It's a 2-1 game here, so the Pens get one right back on the power play. All right, it's going to be brought into the offensive zone by number 74, Easton Borman, as the Pens try to continue the momentum. He seals off his man as Borman's in a puck battle here below the goal line now. Wilson on to help as well, as it's going to be sent up the wall to Blake Parrish, who's going to try and move it. He's got Wilson in front, tries to go to Wilson. It finds the stick of Connor Wilson, backhanded into the chest protector, and into the flex, into the nets! As Parrish and Wilson are not sure which guy tucked it in, but it's 2-2. A flurry of goals here, as offense is being created off of some rebounds for your Pens Elite squad. 7:49 to go in the first period, and it's a new game, 2-2. Puck's going to be won back to Noah Welch. Welch is going to move it to his D partner. That's Nanavisa. Nanavisa is going to curl back below the net, and he's going to move it off the wall to Blake Parrish. Parrish has a little bit of room here. He's going to skate with it now. He's got Wilson up ahead of the play. Tries to get to Wilson. Does, but it invades his reach, as it's going to be sent off the wall and all the way back into the Pens D zone. Welch is going to have to go into a foot race here. He delays his man up a little bit, and he's pushed into the wall. It's going to be an icing call. As Pens are going to be rewarded with an offensive zone faceoff to the left of the Providence netminder, number 27. Fergie is going to step in for the draw, number 93, centerman Riker Ferguson with Sawyer Phillips. It's going to be one back to Grant Loya. Loya down to the wall to Gaworski. Nice puck movement here. Gaworski was looking for Phillips, who was below the goal line. Phillips unable to control that puck. He goes over and gets it back. He finds Brooks Gaworski in front of the net. He had a near wall and forced out back to center, where Nico Stark's going to pick up the puck. Stark's looking for an option. Goes off the shin pad of a Providence forward. But it is Grant Loya now that picks it up. Goes over Brooks Gaworski's stick. He's going to tie up his man. He's going against number 44 here for the Providence Capitals. It's our own number 43 that picks up the puck. It's Grant Loya. He's going to get the motor going here in the offensive zone. He tries a curl move, but he sticks with it. Finds the stick of Gaworski, backhanded towards the net, deflects down. Sawyer Phillips puts it in. Sawyer Phillips, off of a play created by Grant Loya, getting the puck over to Brooks Gaworski, cashes in, and a 2-0 lead for the Providence Capitals is now a 3-2 game. A lot of juicy rebounds on this netminder. The Pens should just keep throwing that puck right on them. 6:31 now to go. Pens have their first lead of the game and of the tournament. Welch is going to send this wide to his D partner. That is Wyatt Frankenfield. Frankenfield moves it up to Bingham Green. Mulligan's going to go in on the forecheck now, pressuring the puck carrier. It's going to be sent up the wall, off the body of Welch and out of the zone. Back to cover up, though, for him was number 74. That's Easton Borman. Borman goes to Frankenfield. Frankenfield up to Bingham Green. He's trying to work it deeper in the zone. Green comes in. Shot taken off the bar. Welch is going to try and hustle over and keep this in the zone. He pinched, as this is going to create a 2-on-1 here as they're trying Frankenfield. Man works around Frankenfield. It's going to be gloved down by Dragosic. And we're going to have a D-zone draw coming up to the left of Max as Riker Ferguson's going to step in to take this, flanked by Paris and Connor Wilson. On the backside, Loya and Nenevisa. It's going to be one back to CJ Nenevisa. He's going to go off the wall with it. Deflects off the skate of a Providence Capital right to the tape of Blake Paris. Paris is going to move it to a streaking Riker Ferguson. He gets through everybody. Puck still sitting in the crease, as Paris is going to come over from his winger position and try and hold the zone. And it's going to be sailed back into the Pens D zone, where CJ Nenevisa is going to go back for this puck. Capital players able to get to it first, as he's going to get into a puck battle now with 93 Riker Ferguson in to help out as 77 Nenevisa. It's Nenevisa that comes out of the fray with the possession of the puck. It's going to be moved from Paris. Paris tried a centering attempt. It finds the stick now of Grant Loy, streaking down. Finds an open Connor Wilson, unable to control that puck though. Wilson now has it. He's pulled down. Penalty coming up. And the efforts of Connor Wilson and Grant Loy are going to be rewarded with another power play here in the later stages of the first period. 4:55 on the clock. 2-minute penalty assessed to the Providence Capitals. Now on the ice, Easton Borman at center. On the right side, Brooks Gaworski moving over into a shooting position is 3 Sawyer Phillips. On the backside is Frankenfield and Nico Stark. It's going to be thrown up the wall. Stark with the nice keep. He's going to move it back down into the equipment of Borman. Borman curls around one guy. He's got Gaworski back door. Looks for him. Unable to connect, though. It's going to come up to Wyatt Frankenfield. Tries to move it down the wall. Pressuring the puck now is Brooks Gaworski. He's going to be forced to the wall as Sawyer Phillips now comes over to help out. Got a collision here as Sawyer Phillips is looking to move and moves into the slot. It's got Borman. Shot wide of the net. He's going to leave it for Easton Borman now behind the net. As Borman's looking for a pathway, he's going to try and curl around. He's thrown into the boards. It's going to be checked again into the boards here. He's going in as Gaworski's going to come over, and it's going to go out of the zone as it's going to be wound back up by Nico Stark. He's going to lead the rush here. Pens changing a couple players behind the place. Shot in on net. Glove down by netminder number 27. Another offensive zone faceoff. 1:06 to go on the power play for the Pens Elite squad, as the Pens are going to change up their troops now on to take this draw. 93 Riker Ferguson with Owen Mulligan and Bingham Green, Noah Welch and CJ Nenevisa now on the backside. 3-2 the score, 4:02 on the clock. Ferguson's going to send this back to Welch. Welch is going to send this down the wall now. Right to the tape of Ferguson. Ferguson through the crease was Bingham Green. Mulligan's looking for an option. He's got a couple guys open. He's going to hold on to it himself. He's going to send it back to the point to Noah Welch. Welch is going to send it right back down the wall to Ferguson. Ferguson curls around. He's got Nenevisa open back door. Tried to hit him with a pass. It's going to get into the footing of a couple of guys. As good stick there by Nenevisa. It's going to be brought right back through the neutral zone, though, by the Capitals player. They curl around a couple guys and they dump it deep. 3:22 now to go in the first period as Fergie, number 93 Riker Ferguson, picks it up. 22 now to go on the power play. It's going to be thrown up the wall to Bingham Green. He's got Mulligan up ahead. Just a little bit too far as Noah Welch is going to curl back and pick up this puck, as he's going to curl back into his own zone to create some space. He's going to throw it up to Mulligan. We're back to 5-on-5 action, as Borman's going to bring it through. He's got Green. Tried to go back to Borman. Borman gets his head up, surveying his options. He's going to sail it over to the point to Nico Stark. Unable to control that puck. It's going to go out of the zone. Brought back in by Paris. Offsides is the call. 2:40 to play in the first period. Borman now steps in, wins his faceoff back to Paris. Paris goes up to Wilson, unable to get it in the zone, though. It's going to kick back to the stick of Nico Stark. Stark to 43 Loya. Loya sails it up to Easton Borman. It's going to get his feet moving into the offensive zone. He's going to come down the wall now. Stops up. He's got Wilson. Leaves it for Wilson. Wilson's going to bring it towards the net. He's got Paris coming in. Instead, he's going to go back to the point man. That's Nico Stark. Shot taken, deflects down wide of the net. Borman's going to hurry over. Good zone time here for the Pens here in the later stages of the first period. Shot's going to be sailed back down to Easton Borman. Borman's going to send it right back up the wall to Loya. Point's going to be covered by Paris, as it's going to be Blake Paris that tries to get through. He's hold down, nothing called. Puck still high in the slot, as Wilson's back on the back check, as it finds the tape of number 43, Grant Loya. 1:43 now to play in the first period. Grant has a little time here. He's going to try and sail it up to Connor Wilson, though. It's going to be picked off, thrown into the high slot. And Nico Stark's going to wheel it around the net to Connor Wilson. Wilson now has it on the on the goal line. He's contested. It's going to be thrown now over to Nico Stark, trying to regroup things to get out of the zone. Skated over by Nico Stark throws a pass to 25, Blake Paris. Paris is going to move it to off the stick blade of a streaking number 8, Connor Wilson. Wilson now has it below the goal line. His Pens are making a change behind the play. Sawyer Phillips is going to try and get over to keep that in the zone, and does. Throws it back down to Connor Wilson. Wilson now has it. He's got behind the net. Wraparound attempts blocked off by the Providence Capital defender. Sailed back to the point. Wyatt Frankenfield has it. Shot taken. Finds the tape of Sawyer Phillips now. He's hooked up. 40 seconds left in the first period. It's going to be sailed out in front, as it's going to be an outlet pass for the Capitals, as it looks like they are going to have an offsides play, so they have to get back on side as it came out of the zone. 24 now to go in the first period. Capitals trying to force this further. Goes off the stick of Noah Walsh. He's going to curl back into his zone. He stops up. It's going to be brought right back in by the Capitals. Shot behind the net, thankfully. 7 to go, as we have 2 on the clock, 1 on the clock. And that's where things are going to do it. Pens getting some momentum after a really pretty ugly start to this game, going down 2-0 early. Now take the lead 3-2, 12 minutes on the clock for the second period. All right, playback underway here. Second period action, 11:52 and counting, as Grant Loya is going to wind it back into his own zone, moving it to his D partner. That's Nenevisa. Nenevisa up to 19, Bingham Green. Green's going to dump it back into the offensive zone. As CJ Nenevisa is going to hustle over and pick up this puck. He's going to move it to Grant Loya at the top of the zone, into the shin pad, though, of the Capital players. Going to move it to a teammate who's going to try Nenevisa. Back checking now nicely was Owen Mulligan. He's going to force his man to the wall. Long shot taken about a foot wide of Max Dragosic, Penguin netminder. As Grant Loya is going to sail it all the way down. Defender fell down, as it's going to come all the way down to the goalie here, number 27. He's going to try and play it. Owen Mulligan trips up. He crashes into the boards, as it's going to be sailed back to center as Wyatt Frankenfield tries to bring it further. But ahead of the play, had a couple guys, and so an offsides call coming up. So neutral zone faceoff with 10:55 to go. Fergie He's going to step in for this draw, flanked by number 8, Connor Wilson, number 25, Blake Paris on the backside, Frankenfield and Stark. It's going to be Connor Wilson that's going to bring it into the offensive zone. Shot taken. Rebound put in by 93, Riker Ferguson. So the Pens generating some offense here. Picking up 4 in a row. 4-2 now the score. 10:49 to go thanks to a Riker Ferguson rebound goal. Penn's going to stick with the same unit here as Providence is going to try and get one back by dumping it back behind Max Dragosic. Back to collect the mail is Stark. Stark reverses, but goes to the stick of a Providence player. And Stark's going to follow that up, though. Moves it up to Paris. Paris going to chip it to Ferguson. Ferguson's going to sail this up ahead to Riker, or to Connor Wilson. Shot high of the net. As Providence tries to hit that man, and it's Blake Paris who's going to backhand it deeper into the zone. Borman's going to send it onto a fresh on the ice number 3, Sawyer Phillips. Goes back to the tape of Borman. Borman right back to Phillips. Long shot into the net. Sawyer Phillips with the Rockets. As the Pens now have a 5-2 lead with 9:55 to go in the second. Sawyer Phillips cashes in as the Pens are responding from that 2-0 deficit with 5 of their own here from game number 3 of the Buffalo Cup. As it's going to be brought into the zone now by Sawyer Phillips, as the Capitals defenseman's going to go back and collect it. Sails it right into the slot to the stick of Borman. Hits a body. Goes wide of the net. Followed on now by number 45. That's Brooks Gaworski. He's going to dump it down to Sawyer Phillips. Centering pass. Doesn't connect. As it now finds Easton Borman. Welch is going to pinch down the wall. As it's going to be chipped around a couple of bodies. And it's going to be sailed back to center to the stick of Sawyer Phillips. Phillips moves this up to Borman. Borman's pulled down. Power play coming up. So the Pens, flurry of goals. Going to get a power play chance here. Offensive zone face-off. 9:15 to go in the second period. Good to see Owen Mulligan after crashing into the wall back on the ice. Bingham Green's going to line up here to take this face-off with Mulligan and Riker Ferguson. Welch and Nenavisa going to complete the power play unit here on the ice for the Pens elite squad. Face-off's going to be one back to Welch. Welch is going to move it across to Nenavisa. Evades his reach, though. It's going to be sailed from Nenavisa over to Mulligan. Mulligan's going to move it to Bingham Green. Offside's called. .147 now to go on the power play. Providence is going to change up one of their players. Taking his time getting on the ice here. As it's going to come to the stick of Noah Welch. Welch is going to bring this into the zone. Leaves it for Bingham Green. Green's going to send it across the offensive zone over to the stick of Owen Mulligan. Mulligan has somebody back door. Goes to Ferguson. It was here on the near side. Finds the stick of Bingham Green. Shot taken off the bar. Welch is going to crash down, trying to get to this puck. He collides with the boards. As it's going to be Riker Ferguson. He's going to send it across the ice to Riker Ferguson. As it's going to be dumped down the ice into the glove of Max Dragosic. D-zone draw here coming up for Easton Borman. Puck's going to be dumped now behind the ice, or down the ice to behind the net. Connor Wilson's going to throw it up to the point man. That's Nico Stark. Rebound. Going to be put wide of the net. Borman now has it. He's going to sail it back to the point man. That's 43, Grant Loya. Loya's going to take a shot. Goes wide of the net. 7:40 now to go in the second period. 21 to go on the Penguin power play. Nico Stark walks down Fifth Avenue with this puck. Shot as it deflects wide of the net. It's going to go over to collect this puck is Easton Borman. Wilson's going to take a shot. As they're back to 5-on-5 action here. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there after crashing into the wall. 14-0 Welch being checked out here in the head region, so I was paying attention a little bit to that. As we are approaching the mid stages of the second period, Sawyer Phillips is going to move this back to center. As it's going to be picked off by number 43. He's going to try to work around Nico Stark, Penn's defenseman. 13 crashes into the wall himself. It's the third player that's done that on this ice. As Ferguson's going to bring this back to center. He's going to move it up to Grant Loya. Loya's going to send it across to Sawyer Phillips. He makes a pretty move. He's looking for his third of the game. Moves it to Ferguson instead. Off the stick of Phillips. Phillips is going to stick with it. Has it below the goal line. He's going to send it behind the net. It's going to be picked off, though, by the Providence Capital player and sailed back through to the neutral zone. Phillips back on the back check as Capital's going to try and work it around Nenavisa and bring it through the skates of Frankenfield. He's able to stop the progress of his man as Ferguson's able to move it up to Nenavisa and Phillips. Nenavisa's pulled down as he exits the zone. It's going to be dumped right back off the stick of Phillips as a man's going to dance around. Frankenfield shot taken in on Dragosic as Nenavisa's going to sail it back to center. Five to the score, 5:37 and ticking here in the second period. Pens in game number 3 of the Buffalo Cup against the Providence Capitals. Pressure going to be applied by Borman. It goes around the stick of Nico Stark as it's going to go all the way back down. Not far enough for icing here as Welch was in a foot race with number 5. As it's going to go over to Nico Stark and get in with his man. Welch back on the ice after colliding with the boards. Welch is going to sail it up off the stick of Mulligan. It's going to be coming right back to the tape of Noah Welch, but offsides ahead of the play. 2 Providence Capitals players, so 5-4 neutral zone face-off, 5-2 the score. If you're joining us late, Providence got off to a 2-0 lead about 2 minutes into the game. And then it's been all Pittsburgh Penguins since then. As Capitals going to try and dance around. They do dance around Noah Welch. It's going to be sticked away as the caught Noah Welch standing still. As it's going to be sailed up ahead to Owen Mulligan. Mulligan shot taken in the equipment. And then drops down between the pads of the Capitals netminder and in the net. Owen Mulligan is going to cash in here. 6-2 game, 4:45 to go in the second. As the Capitals coaching staff's looking for an explanation. The explanation is their netminder didn't have it and put it in his own net. As Borman now is going to take this draw. Welch is going to step up. As Mulligan is going to move this back ahead to Bingham Green. As we have a penalty coming up here as Bingham Green's run into. And he's now down. All right, power play for your Penn's Elite squad as they have a draw here to the left to the right of the Capital netminder, as Bingham Green was able to make his way to the bench, and it finds a stick high in the zone. That is 25, winger for the Pens, Blake Paris, going to be held in by Nenevisa. Nenevisa moves it to Fergie. He had Wilson going to the net, tried to hit him with that pass. It's going to be picked off as the Capitals trying to move it out of the zone now. 4:03 to play in the second period. It's going to come back to center. Paris is going to move it up the wall off of the leg of the official as Wilson dances around the guy. He's pulled down as he's going to try and move it behind the net to Ferguson. Freshly on the ice is Sawyer Phillips. He scored from that spot earlier in the period. He's going to dump it behind his back now as Grant Loya is going to try and bring it into the zone. And he does get around a couple of guys. Grant Loya is going to force it deep into the offensive zone. 1 minute to go on the power play for the Penn's Elite squad. 3:28 now to go in the third period as Connor Wilson pulled down once again. Goes to Easton Borman. Shot taken. Blocker down. Still loose as the Capitals are going to try and airmail this all the way down the ice. Back to retrieve this puck is 77. CJ Nenevisa is going to send it up to winger Brooks Gaworski. Gaworski over to Phillips. Following this puck on is CJ. Nenevisa moves it into the slot, deflects off of the stick of a Capitals D-man. In on goal. So sneaky little play by CJ creates an offensive zone face-off on the power play. 30 seconds to go on this call. Cross-checking call into the back of Bingham Green in the later stages of the second period. As Fergie is going to step in to take this draw, flanked by Green and Mulligan. Frankenfield and Welch here on the backside. Another late change here for the Capitals. Puck's going to be won back to Mulligan. Mulligan's high in the zone now. He's going to try and bring it back down the wall. It's going to come right to the tape of Noah Welch. It's going to sail it off the stick of Fergie and in on net. Where the netminder's going to cover it up. 2:50 to go. 19 seconds to go on the Penguins power play. As the Capitals player is going to come out with it. It's going to be held in by Welch. Welch sails it right back down the wall. As Bingham Green, good to see him back on the ice. He's going to seal off his man on the wall. As Ferguson crashes into a body, as Providence Capitals are able to kill off this penalty as they got one coming out of the box. Man's able to dance around Frankenfield. Penalty coming up. Comes all the way back to the point. It's going to be stick down into the crease off of the equipment of Welch. So we're going to have a penalty called. I believe it's going against Wyatt Frankenfield, Penn's defender. Nope, they're going to take Owen. Who are they getting here? Owen Mulligan with a hold. As the Pens got into penalty trouble against Mid-Fairfield earlier today. Gonna have to go back to work here. 2-minute penalty assessed to Owen Mulligan. 6-2 the score. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the second. As Brooks Gaworski's gonna apply some pressure. Other penalty killers on the ice right now, Sawyer Phillips, Nico Stark, and the man with the puck right now, number 43, Grant Loya. It's going to be backhanded towards netminder number 29, Max Dragosic. Stark's going to reverse it back behind the net as the Capitals are backing off here, giving some Pens some time to bring it further in the zone, finding the stick now of Nico Stark off the wall to Phillips. Phillips up to Gaworski. Gaworski's coming in one-on-one. The defender turned the wrong way. He's going to bring it down the right hand of the right side of the ice. He's pulled down. And that's going to do it for the Capitals power play as Brooks Gaworski creating some offense. And we're going to go to 4-on-4 action for about a minute and a half as the parade to the penalty box for the Capitals continues here in the second period. Offensive zone faceoff. Gaworski and Phillips, Loya and Stark complete the Four-man unit for the Pens off the stick of Stark, back into the neutral zone. He's going to back it over to Grant Loya. Loya's going to move it up ahead to Sawyer Phillips. Kids falling down all over the ice today this afternoon. Here from Amherst, New York, just outside of Buffalo. As Nico Stark's going to move it over to Phillips, unable to control that puck though, as the Capitals going to bring it in, but picked up by Stark. Stark off the stick of Phillips. Phillips is going to try and move it to Gaworski. Instead, it goes high in the slot, off the skates now of Loya. As Loya's going to try to dance around a couple guys. He has his pocket picked. In all alone is 96 in the net. Pens were trying to work it out of their zone. And it finds the tape of either 86 or 96. It's tough to see with the gold numbers on the Capitals goalie, or on the Capitals jerseys. And so 4-on-4 play is going to result in a goal for the Providence Capitals. 6-3 is the score. 53.3 on the clock. 4-on-4 play continues as it's going to be chipped over to Noah Welch. Welch is going to try and move this up to Blake Paris, and does. Paris now has it. He's hooked up a little bit. Goes to Connor Wilson. Wilson now has it, as Noah Welch is going to step into the zone with this puck. And it goes down the wall now where Blake Paris collects the mail. He leaves it, but it's going to be picked up by a Capitals player. 43 now to go on the clock, as the Capitals are going to come through with some speed. As good on the back check is Connor Wilson. Takes possession of that puck. He now has it. He's going to sail it over to Noah Welch. Pens defender on the left side. Welch still has this puck. He's going to bring it into the offensive zone. He's going to send it into some space. 22 now to go on the clock. It's going to go off the skates and Enavisa to Connor Wilson. Pens have a power play now. Owen Mulligan now has it, but the Capitals are going to exit the zone here. They're going to try and Enavisa. Ahead of the play, though, was number 91 for the Capitals. As we have 6 seconds to go in the third period, neutral zone face-off. Pens have a brief power play, 97 in the box for them. 28 seconds to go on the power play. Draw is going to be taken by Easton Borman. As the Providence Capitals, their math skills must not be too great here. They're arguing that their players should be out of the box. But it was the Capitals that had a power play first. And that's where things are going to end here. All right, third period action set to resume with the Pens on the power play for 22 seconds. As the Capitals have two players in the box. One received a major penalty, or a misconduct penalty. So 15 minutes on the clock. Pens are going to bring this into the offensive zone. That's 19. Bingham Green's going to try and work around his guy. It's 13's going to defend him. Green shields that puck nicely. He's going to try and move it over to Mulligan. As it's going to be brought high in the zone as finds Nico Stark. Shot taken, long shot taken into the equipment as the penalty expires, so we're back into 5-on-5 action. As out of the box comes 97, is going to skate over to the bench. Offensive zone face-off. Borman's going to step in to take this. Capitals win it back, but it's going to come to the point man. That is Wyatt Frankfield. Shot taken off of the shin pad of a Capitals player. And back to center. Right back to number 4, Wyatt Frankfield. Right-handed defenseman for the Pens Elite Squad. He's going to skate it up, moves it up to Borman. Borman's going to try to curl around a couple guys, but ahead of the play was either Gaworski or Frankenfield. Neutral zone faceoff coming up. 14-19 to go in the third. 6-3 the score. 2-0 lead for the Capitals evaporated pretty quickly as the Pens put up 6 before the Capitals get one of their own during 4-on-4 play, and that's where we stand. 6-3 here at the start of the third period. Brooks Gaworski now is going to leave it for Sawyer Phillips. Phillips is going to move it into the slot to Easton Borman. Gets caught up in his skates where Capitals going to try and wind this around Nico Stark. Stark with a good stick here to create a turnover as Easton Borman streaking down. He has a stick put into him. Almost put into their own net by the Capitals. Still loose, though, as the official here is going to blow it dead. As there's some chirping going on the ice. As offensive zone face-off, Riker Ferguson's going to step in to take it with Wilson and Blake Paris. Behind the net, number 13 is going to take it as he's going to be pressured by Connor Wilson. Comes back into the neutral zone now. And Riker Ferguson comes out of that fray with the puck. He's going to try his guys. He leaves it for Blake Paris and go to the net. He drives the net. Blake Paris puts it home just inside the post over the left pad of netminder number 27. Riker Ferguson leaves it for Paris, and it's in the back of the net. 7-3 now is the score as the Pens are generating offense this afternoon. Blake Paris with the 7th goal of the game as it's going to be dumped now deep into the Penguin zone. Riker Ferguson's going back to collect this puck. Has it at the dot. He's pulled down. It's going to come high in the zone to number 13. He goes D to D to his D partner. Picked off momentarily by Paris. Comes out of the zone. Offsides called. 13:02 now to go. Neutral zone faceoff coming up. Ferguson in to take this draw. Jumping this draw is Connor Wilson. He's going to come in 1-on-2. He's going to take his man wide. Brings it inside. Pretty move by Connor Wilson. Goes around everything. Sails over the net. Paris is going to go back to the point man. That's Wyatt Frankfield. He takes a shot. Finds the stick of Wilson. And is put in by Connor Wilson for number 8. Getting number 8. Connor Wilson with the goal. 12:45 to go in the third period. Connor Wilson makes it 8-3 here. Ensuing faceoff's going to be won back to the stick of Noah Welch. He's going to curl back into his own zone. He gets his head up. Didn't get a lot on that pass and sails it right to the stick of a Capitals player. As Bingham Green now is going to move it out of the zone to Owen Mulligan. Mulligan has his pocket picked here on the half wall. As it's going to be brought back as the Capitals player is going to try and dance around Frankenfield. And it's put just behind the net by the Capitals. As Bingham Green tries to bring it back to center. Just out of the zone in the neutral zone to the Capitals. As Frankenfield tries to get to that puck, curled around him, back high in the zone now. Shot taken in on Dragosic. Wide of the net now. Wyatt Frankenfield's going to go behind his own net. He falls down. As the point man for the Capitals is going to sail this behind the net once again. Good stick by Frankenfield's going to push it high in the slot. Penn's hemmed in a little bit. Bingham Green's going to come out and challenge. The point man shot across the crease, gets through everybody, as Mulligan's now going to have to hustle over to get to this puck. As he shoots it off the stick of the Capitals defender. And brought right back in around Frankenfield. Penn's playing with fire here as it's going to be put behind our own net. Green's going to be forced into the wall again. As Green's going to move it up to Sawyer Phillips. Phillips is going to come in 1-on-2. He's got Fergie going with him. He's going to push it deep down the wall. And he's sealed off right now, but freshly on the ice, Brooks Gawarski is going to come over and help out along with Ferguson. It's going to be slammed off the wall by the Capitals. Back to the point man, that is Nico Stark. He's going to skate over with it. Backhands it over to Phillips. It's going to be brought out of the zone by the Capitals, number 13. And dumped right back in. 10-19 to go, 8-3 the score. As your Penn's Elite squad has the 5-goal lead over the Providence Capitals. Puck comes behind Dragosic now as it's possessed by 43 Grant Loya. Sends it to a teammate that Sawyer Phillips tried to chip it up to Gawarski. As Sawyer Phillips now has it. And it's going to be forced out of the zone nicely by Nico Stark trying to join the rush. Puck though remains in the neutral zone. Stark has to hustle back to get to that puck. Sends it D to D over to his partner. That's Grant Loya. Stick down. Ferguson now has it. Penn's having the last couple of minutes as the Capitals have been having a little bit of a pushback here. And it's Grant Loya. He's going to try to change things up as he brings the puck back to center. It sails off his stick. As it's going to be brought around Stark and shot over the glove of Dragosic and into the net though. 9-13, and we are, I believe, in a running clock situation here, as it's going to be made 8-4 by the Providence Capitals right now. So the Pens are getting set up here. We do have a running clock, 8:58 and ticking, as Blake Paris is going to have a penalty called against him for a tripping call. So Paris is going to go to the box. So the Pens have a penalty kill here. Connor Wilson's going to win it back behind the net to Noah Welch. Welch is going to wind it up to Owen Mulligan. As Mulligan sails it back, but it's going to be picked off by the Capitals. So they're going to try and work it around CJ Nanavisa. They do. Brought in as Capital player sails into the equipment of Noah Welch. As Nanavisa is going to push this back through the neutral zone and back into the Pens offensive zone. Pens going to change up some of their PK personnel. Connor Wilson's able to pick up this pass. He brings it back into the offensive zone. He may have something going here. He's going to send it back to himself off the wall. He's taking some time off of this penalty. 1:13 now to go on the tripping call to Blake Paris, as the Capitals going to try and work around Stark and his D partner. That's Wyatt Frankenfield. 7:37 to go in the third. High in the slot, shot taken into the equipment of netminder Dragosic. Swallows that puck up, no rebound. As one of the Capitals players that was assessed a penalty earlier in the game comes out of the box here after a misconduct penalty. 7:30 now to go on the clock. Back to a stop clock. 8-4 is the score. It's going to be thrown now to the goal line area as player tries to come out in front. He was looking for a teammate in the slot, but picked off by Gaworski. Gaworski off the stick of a Capitals defender. It's going to be brought back into the Pens offensive zone by Sawyer Phillips, looking for his third. Pens in a shorthanded situation here for the next 30 seconds. As Phillips tries to force it deeper, but Capitals going to come out with some pressure. Stepping up nicely was number 7, Nico Stark. Stark moves it to Phillips. Phillips up to Gaworski. Gaworski dances around a couple of guys as he gets his stick into a guy. So penalty is going to be coming up here as Providence is going to try Grant Loy now. That penalty ends. It's going to be touched up by the Pens. We have a tripping call coming up as Brooks Gaworski is going to go to the box now. 6:21, back to a running clock as that power play expired for the Capitals. So I assume that it'll be stopped up during the actual whistles of the penalty kill for the Penguin squad. Puck's going to be sailed in high, but it goes off the blocker of Max Dragosic. Finds the stick of Easton Borman. He's got a lot of speed here. He's going to go around 44. Evades that defender. He's hooked up. 44 is unable to get to that puck, but it's found by Easton Borman. As Easton Borman cashes in, worked around number 44. And it's put back into the net. Getting to that puck that he created, that chance he created for himself. Easton Borman, 9-4 now the score, 5:17 and ticking as Borman's back on that puck. He's going to send it across to left defenseman, number 77, CJ Nenavisa. Nenavisa tried to work it up to Blake Parrish, unable to get it further though. Borman though working back all 200 feet of the ice surface here, has it behind his net now. He's going to send it off the wall. Pens still on the penalty kill as they cashed in on the shorthanded goal thanks to number 74, Easton Borman. It's going to be sent in on Dragosic. He calmly pushes that to the side of the net where it's picked up by CJ Nenavisa. Nenavisa up to Paris. 5-on-5 action now for the Pens elite squad, as it's going to be outletted by the Capitals to the stick of Noah Welch. He's going to work it back up to Blake Parrish. Capitals were making a change there. Lucky they didn't get a too many men call. I doubt they would be called in a 9-4 game. 4 minutes left now in the third period. Frankenfield has it. He's going to go D to D to Welch. Welch has Wilson up ahead. He fans on that. And the 2-on-1 is going to develop. Thankfully, it's going to be an offsides call, as Gaworski's going to sprint over to the bench now. They didn't have his penalty up on the board. Some clock issues here as the play is going to resume. 3:42 running clock, 9-4 the score. Connor Wilson picks the pocket of the Capitals D-man. Wilson now has it. Centering pass goes through everybody and back to center, where Wyatt Frankenfield is going to have to go back and retrieve this puck. He's going to throw a shoulder into a man, as it's going to be shot wide of the net now. play back underway here. 3:08 to go in the third period. Neutral zone faceoff is going to be taken by Ferguson. It's going to go back to number 4, Wyatt Frankenfield, who falls down. As Welch is going to come over. He gets in the way of that pass. Picks that off nicely as Wilson's going to send it right back to Noah Welch behind the net. Welch uses his skating, gets around one guy. He's going to send it off the boards. As the Capitals are going to try and work this deeper into the zone. Goes off the equipment of Frankenfield, wide of the net, 2:37 to go, 9-4 the score. Pittsburgh Penguins a lead over Providence, the Providence Capitals. As Ferguson on trying to get possession of this puck and does. Sends it up to his winger, Blake Paris. Over to get to that puck is Connor Wilson. As it's going to be dumped off the backside of Blake Paris, who smartly dumps it into the offensive zone. Taking some more time off the clock. 13's going to go back and retrieve it. Garcia, as he sends it up to Penn's defenseman. Grant Loyer runs into a guy. Ahead of the play, though, was Connor Wilson and Owen Mulligan. So offensive zone, correction, and neutral zone face-off is coming up here. Late stages of the third period. Running clock, 1:49, 48, 47 to go. As Borman steps in. Easton Borman with a strong game here today. As number 27 netminder for the Capitals starting to lose focus. He was doing some pirouettes on the ice as that was coming into the offensive zone. Bingham Green now has Mulligan going with him. Tries to hit Mulligan. Just out of his reach, though, as Mulligan's going to be checked into the wall. And it finds the stick at 44 as Borman now takes a slash. A two-hander from 44. As things are definitely chippy here late in the stages of the third period as Bingham Green's going to bring it in. Offsides is the call. 55 seconds and ticking. As I think the officials are going to take their time getting things lined up. Penn's in no hurry to line up here. 46, they're going to walk out of here with their first win of the tournament to go 1-1-1 so far. As it goes back into the Penn's D zone. CJ Nenavisa picks it up. He tries to hit Sawyer Phillips with it. Sawyer Phillips is going to bump into a man. As we're down to our final 30. As the Capitals are going to bring it back into their offensive zone in a couple of skates. Finds the skates to Noah Welch. Welch goes up to Gaworski. Airmailed into the blocker of Max Dragicic. Welch is going to come over and pick up that puck. Goes off the wall with it to Gaworski. 15 to go. Back to the point man, 44. Long shot taken. Glove down by Max, and that's going to do it here as we have 8 seconds, 7 seconds. So game number 3 as the Pens are able to respond after giving up 2 early first period goals. 9-4's the score. And they'll have a date with a cross-state foe in game number 4 tomorrow. A big long break for the Pens Elite squad. They're not back in action until 6:30 tomorrow night against the Minutemen from Valley Forge. And that'll do it from